Well, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, I've been gone for a while, and I've been gone for good reason. Um, had to move in the new shop. Last shop, unfortunately, had gotten broken into, and $60,000 worth of my tools, rare parts, parts in general, every last one of my rotor housings that I had, um, all kinds of stuff, gone. Complete engine, um, broke stuff that they left, uh, just for these two ass clowns, just to get high. They took everything to the scrap, including all my tools and brand new heater that I had. Everything is gone. It looked like I did a rough estimate about $60,000. It's probably a little bit more than that. One of the transmissions that they had taken, unfortunately, had a really, it was an Enco short ratio gear set for naturally aspirated RX-7 boxes that, I don't know if you guys are aware of, are very hard to get, even if you can get them. So that set was gone, and that only had a few rounds on it. It was just, had it sitting there waiting for a next project, you know. It sucks, but with disaster comes something new. So I'm in the new shop. I'm still not 100% in yet. I'm still moving stuff around and setting stuff up, so it's not very good in there yet. But give you an idea what I'm working with. So this is the outside of the front of my building that I've got now. Now the shop is quite large. You'll see in a second. This is the largest garage door I've had for a shop entrance. It's laid out kind of interesting in here. You'll see in a second here. Without further delay, I guess I'll go in. Moved now to Watertown, Wisconsin from Delafield. But yeah, so welcome to the new home of the shop. And then this time around, and instead of worrying about getting broken into, I do have a fancy schmancy security system now. So that's linked directly to the police department. So if anybody does try to break into here, they will be notified right away. But like I said, shop is 4,200 square feet, plus about 1,500 of mezzanine. Unfortunately, the ceiling height was about 6 inches too short in this section of the building to put my lift in, so I put it in the back section. Little Saturn project car that I've got that I will be selling here soon. Just gotta do some finishing touches on a real clean car. So if anybody's looking for a good quality, clean driver with good gas mileage, heating, air conditioning, all that fun stuff, there's automatic. This one will be for sale soon. Like I said, I still have to move stuff around and get everything going, but again, this is giving you the idea of what I've got for the shop. Like I said, it's 4,200 square foot. I need to paint the walls. The walls will be painted all white. The ceiling will be painted white. The trusses coming in are going to be painted black, as well as all the workbenches that I have around all be painted black. The log cabin wall is going to be painted black, and then above it will be white with the white ceiling. Contemplating, it's a sealed concrete, and in this front section of the shop here, there's 18 inches of concrete in the floor because this building was originally put here to house collector cars and exotics, and the gentleman that built it moved on to bigger and better things. And the guy who I'm renting this property from now told me that I got free reign in here, so I can do what I want. So which is why I'm going to paint. So which is really cool. The guy's an ex college professor. He's an automotive teacher and stuff like that. He's a real good guy. But anyway, so I guess the little tour we got going on here is I was going to make this into a clean room for engine builds and such like that, but I ended up renting it to my brother so he can do a little woodworking and such. So there's a little woodworking area inside here. Of course, he's a Mazda guy too. He likes his Mazda stuff as well as I do. But so we're doing woodworking in here, so I can do stereo boxes and whatnot if I wanted to. But yeah, so that's this little area here. Would have been a good clean room, but we're okay. Close enough. I'll just do finishing stuff out here, some painting out here, stuff like that. It's a nice wide open area, so doing race, and the floor is really flat and level, so I'll be doing a lot of race car chassis setups out here as well. Probably end up putting a setup jig out here with scales, extruded aluminum ramp, stuff like that, so I can do alignments and scaling and stuff out here. There is in the floor, right, why there's 18 inches of concrete out here, is there is frame straightening slots, so I can put a frame straightener in here if I want to. That isn't the place I'm going to be putting the compressor. I just kind of temporarily did that because I do need to do some wiring in here. Over here is the office. Again, it's a mess in here right now, but you'll get the general idea. It's got this awesome green shag carpeting. It's, well, teal, I'll say. And Bill made the trip. The shop will no longer remain Triple R Autosports. It's now, and that was part of the problem with the getting robbed. I didn't, because that performance shop, no insurance company would touch me. So I basically am out 60 grand for nothing. And they took my old TV, so I had to get a new one. So now I got a 50 in here. But this is going to be the office. Some projects that I got coming up here soon, which you'll touch on here in a second. But it's not a little nice, it's a nice little area, nice little office area, homey. Carpet's really, nice. Back here is, I got the big mezzanine up here. It's quite large. He left me the staircase. It goes all the way down into the back above the other stuff too. The rack is in. I just got to do some adjusting, and that'll work out fine. This is a 5.7 liter Hemi out of a Chrysler 300, which I'm building this. It's a really clean straight block. It's got some rust on it and some mouse nests and stuff, but this is going to be the foundation for a engine for the red truck. It's going to be a 426 stroked motor, based off of 5.9 from Arrington Performance. Pistons are being made right now. They're custom made diamonds and stuff like that to make the 426 inch engine. But basically what this motor is going to end up being is a motor for street use, not a race car by any means. The way we're doing the camshaft, that's the other thing too with the camshaft. They're on back order right now because they need to have a brand new cam in order to do the custom cam grind. But basically we're targeting the RPM between 1,300 to 3,800, 4,000 RPM. Way we figure it's going to be roughly 480 to 510 horsepower, and roughly 500 to 550 foot-pounds of torque. Reason why we're doing such a low RPM engine is that is a snowplow truck, and it will be continue to be a snowplow truck. I'm going to be going through this truck and fixing all the rust and basically pulling the body off. And this is the truck that the front drive shaft exploded on. It's an 05 Bighorn 2500 with the 5.7 liter Hemi in it, and like I said, it's going to be a 426 now. I'm going to take the cab off, the box off, fix all the rust, do some custom trailing arms and some track bars and whatnot in it, and do a lot of development parts, do some headers and all kinds of fun stuff. I'll be going with this truck, but I'm starting on that one pretty quick. Of course, the old RX-7 that I got a lot to talk about with that here soon. I still have to put all my remaining pile of parts that I have to put that up into the mezzanine up here. I'll go up there real quick. Got the staircase that came with the building. I got, like I said, the mezzanine up here is pretty cool, so I can stick all kinds of parts up here. And it goes way back into the back. So, yeah, there's that's the Bighorn. It's going to be, that truck will be black by the time we're all said and done. It's going to have black. I'm going to paint it black with red pearl. I think that'll look pretty cool. The only red vehicle that I'm going to remain to have is going to be the RX-7 here. Otherwise, everything's getting painted black, including the silver truck outside. That's my daily driver that will be painted black as well. If you know anybody that needs a K24, I bought this car for one reason only. The body's no good on it. Somehow I locked this car up. I don't know how I locked that car, but well, that's weird. But it's a K24 manual transmission car that I'm going to be pulling the motor, the transmission, the wiring harness, the ECU out of, and just selling it. So if anybody needs a K24, I'll have one for sale. And this is the Bighorn that I was talking about. Of course, the old RX-7 finally got some suspension under it and new tires and stuff. It's got the new 888Rs on it. 255s in the front, 275s out back, and a 17. I have a new turbo for it now, which I'll show in a second. I got some new radium parts, which is cool. I have a lot of work to be doing to this here soon. And unfortunately, the new turbo, I used to have the GTX 4202 on it. Never really got a chance to drive the car with that, but that turbo ended up getting stolen. So now we got a new G42 1450 for it. I'm going to be, and because it's so much larger than the GTX 4202, I have to remake the manifold now. The 4202 fit pretty nice. It was snug, but it fit nice in there. I could redo everything that I wanted to, but this baby girl is the new G series, the G42 1450, and Garrett's website, Garrett Honeywell's website, stated that this turbo was supposed to be actually slightly smaller framed and overall dimensions than the GTX 4202, and that may be the case for the 1200, the G42 1200, but when it comes to the 1450 variant of this turbo, it is quite a bit larger than the 4202. I mean, it is very large. So now I have to remake the exhaust manifold altogether. So that's my next project for that car, is I'll be remaking the exhaust manifold. Also with this turbo, instead of having the Tile V-band hot side, I went with the Garrett. And I talked to Tile on it, and they have no want or need to make any housings for this turbo, which sucks because I love that Tile hot side. This particular turbo has got, like I said, it's got the Garrett the Garrett hot V-band side on it, in a 1.02, yeah, so 1.02 hot side, and unfortunately, the billet flange that I had made up, the billet collector, I should say, I made up for the old manifold for the Tile, no longer fits. It can fit. I've had it on there, but it's just not right. So I got a new V-band flange to weld onto the existing collector, make it work. I'll just do it that way instead of having to remake a whole new collector, because that collector, being out of 304 stainless steel, is very expensive to take a bar stock and have it machined. I mean, that thing was, for a small little pipe, basically a collector pipe, it was $400 to have that thing machined. So I figured for the $50 for the flange and the V-band clamp, it's worth it. So I'll just do it that way for now until I decide to do something else with it. But the new G42 is a beautiful, beautiful piece of machinery, that is for sure. If you ever need a new turbo, I would highly look at the new G series. They're really nice pieces. When I moved in, I just kind of like threw everything in here, but yeah, this is the new digs. The new, like I said, the shop won't be Triple R Autosports no more. It's going to be 3R Motoring. The reason why the name changes, and the reason why I am out the $60,000, a lot of you guys are probably saying, oh, you should have insurance. You should have had insurance. Insurance should cover it, blah, blah, blah. Well, unfortunately, in the state of Wisconsin, when you have a performance or race-oriented shop, and which case I did, there isn't an insurance company out there that would touch me. So basically, the only insurance that I had that I needed, that's required, is a blanket policy for the building, which basically only covered natural disasters. It didn't cover theft. It didn't cover anything. I thought it did, but unfortunately it didn't. So, you know, if I could go back, I would, to try to get something better, but I didn't know at the time. And when you go to make a claim, they tell you otherwise, you're kind of screwed. So keep that in mind if you guys ever want to get a shop of your own, or if you're trying to get insurance of your own for your own stuff. Ask questions. Don't be an idiot like I was and get screwed out of $60,000 plus, because that's a hit that I don't think I'll ever recover from. It put me into a serious depression. I'm still trying to work out. Any rate, I said I had some words about the RX-7, some updates to that, didn't I? So, going back to the old RX-7 over here. So, like I said, I have to remake the manifold because the new G-Series turbo won't. It just doesn't fit where it's at. So that's coming out. I'm going to recut that up. The flange that's currently on here that mounts to the motor is 3/4 of an inch thick out of 304. So I'm going to keep that way. I'm going to reposition and then cut the pipes basically off, cut the collector off, and then obviously keep the wastegate part of it on the collector, and then just modify the top half of it so it'll bolt to the new Garrett housing, and then just relocate the turbo into a better spot. I'm just trying to work out how I want to do that. I want to keep it as far back towards the firewall as possible for the weight distribution. I don't want it hanging out in the front. And that, and with the new hood that I'm going to be making for this thing too, it's better to have it back further. These things have snap oversteer like a mother that it's real hard to tune out. And once you have it tuned out, it's great. These things, the second gen RX-7s really fly. But anytime you're putting weight over that front axle or putting weight in front of the steering rack, you're asking for problems. So that's why I'm trying to get the turbo as far down low and far back as possible. And being such a large unit, it is a nightmare. So, and I really don't want to cut this car up any more than I have to. Power steering is going back in, so that's there. The engine management system that's going in the car, I'm getting rid of the Wolf, and unfortunately we parted companies a while back, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. It wasn't good for anybody. So the system's going in is the M series, the M1 series from Motec. So I think I'm putting a 170 in here with the Motorsports connector. I'm also going to have shock travel sensors to the car, the full gamut. I mean, I'm overkilling sensors for everything, because again, I'm going back to using this car for development work, back to my roots, the reason why I bought, have this car and why I built it and why I have the company. So this car will be into the development car again. The red truck is just going to be a beast of a truck. We're going to use it for snow plowing this year, and then going to be probably doing some street gas truck pulls with it next year, so it'll be fun. Again, that's just only bought it for the K24, so I can sell it. If you know anybody that wants one or wants a K24 built, let me know as well. The silver truck outside, that's going to be getting a 426 as well. I'm going to build that one. But that one, instead of being such a low RPM motor, I'm going to use this one for high RPM. Naturally aspirated, because it's a short wheelbase truck. It's a regular cab, 6-foot bed. 4-wheel drive truck that's pretty clapped out right now, and it's got some miles on it. This truck will be getting basically the engine that's coming out of the red truck is going to be built into a 426 because they're both 05s. Be dropped back into this one, but that one's going to be a 7,000 RPM motor. Try to basically go as high compression ratio as I can get by with still running pump gas. I still don't want to run E85. I don't trust it. I don't like it. Just gonna run 93, and if I have to run race gas in it, I have access to race gas actually easier than I would if it would be a E85, and I would trust race gas over anything. So yeah, so that one's gonna be lowered as much as possible. I would love to be able to lower that truck 8 to 10 inches, move the diff up, rebuild the front suspension so the steering geometry is correct, get rid of the rear leaf springs, put a 3 link in it probably, otherwise it'll be a 4 link with a Watts link setup instead of a Panhard bar for handling, and basically make an all-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive, because it will be able to shift in and out of 4-wheel drive, but make a 4-wheel drive sports truck, a true sports truck. Well, kind of like what a Viper truck should have been, but never was. So that's what that truck will be done. Probably start that project next spring, sometime next year we'll start into that. I just want to get the engine done first and have some fun with it. But yeah, that truck is going to go into the knife eventually as well. Anything else to update you on? The RX-7 is going to be, a lot of body work's going to be done with it, new paint job, it's going to get a true wide body. I did finally find somebody that is repopping the old tri-point fenders, so I may order those, otherwise I'll make my own out of glass or carbon. I'll make the S5 front bumper and the factory aero lip, which I have on the car already, but we made a mold for that bumper and lip for the race car so I can make a carbon one. So I may make a carbon front nose for that car for now. Carbon hood, stuff like that. Redo the cage in the car. Still going to have carpet in it, still going to be full interior, still going to be full street car, but an awfully wild one. So let's see. Oh yeah, in the winter time here, once this place is cleaned up and reorganized and everything else, if you're local to Wisconsin, I will be offering climate controlled storage for the winter around here. I'll probably I've got room for 10 cars comfortably in here, and still be able to work. All cars will be not only covered with car covers, but also plastic, and every last one of the cars will be on a battery tender, and then the vehicles will be looked after as far as on jack stands and started up if owners requested, stuff like that. So again, if you guys are looking for winter storage, hit me up. Be more than happy to talk with you. Go through that way. If you're looking for a K24, I've got not one but 2 K24s. One's an auto and one's the manual. The manual is the one I'm going to be pulling the wiring harness out with, the ECU with. I mean, it's going to be a full drop-in setup. That engine does run. It's a good motor, roughly 100,000 on it. Didn't leak any oil. It was a good engine. So let's see. The Saturn will be for sale soon. So if anybody's looking for a Saturn, this one's pretty cool. It's a 1.9 twin cam, automatic transmission. Like I said, heat, air conditioning. I think it's got manual strong arm windows in it though. Yeah, strong arm windows, stuff like that. But it's a good little get around car. I'll fix the paint on it, so where the clear coat is peeling off of, I will fix it, and it'll be looking like a brand new car when it gets out of here. So this one will be ready to go in probably a week. Then I have a 2008 Honda Accord as well, going to be available in about a week and a half. That one's a really nice car. It's leather, everything. So I'll show more about that one when it shows up. So, but yeah, welcome to the new home of 3R Motoring. And this time I ain't gonna get my ass broken into no more. So cool. I've rattled on long enough. It's 25 5 minutes long. So with that, I guess we'll see you guys later.